There we go. So I'm really, really delighted this evening to introduce a guest to you who's recently joined us for the last 2.5 months ago. That's not very long. This lady is living on the island of Bermuda, and she tells me that she's been in the travel industry for a long time. So please welcome Italian Sousa to the call. Italian, thank you so much for joining us. And perhaps you could be kind enough to just tell us how you came up with a first name of Italian, because it's always puzzled me. Would you mind?
Well, I didn't come up with the name, my mom did.
Oh, your mum did, of course, yeah.
Yes. So I think what happened is that she used to work at a restaurant called Little Venice, which is an Italian restaurant. And she was also around a lot of Italian people. So when she was pregnant and giving birth, she's like, I'm going to give my brother, boy or girl, a name called Italian. Actually, my name is pronounced Italian, not Italian, but Italian. And it's actually a communication piece, because when people ask me my name and I say my name is Italian, and they usually say, what, you are not telling me? I said, no, listen, my name is Italian. I'm not saying that I'm not telling you, but that's my name, Italian. And of course, in the industry that I am in, which is travel, it's really good because I get to travel to Italy and different places.
Oh.
So it kind of works together. So most people don't know who I am, a bit of everything. And plus, my last name is Sousa. My husband's Portuguese. So you get Italian, Sousa, and then you get myself.
Well, this is fascinating because, I mean, it's very European. I'm delighted to hear all this story, and because our focus this year is, in fact, on Europe, and particularly Portugal and Italy. So this is really good news. So I wonder if I can just ask you, your first encounter with Mutitec is a little while ago, right? It wasn't that recently. It was a while back.
Yes, actually, I was introduced to the product in 2010, and my husband and I had a knock on our door, and somebody wanted to sell us this product, and you know what happens when people knock, and it's like, okay, and the person was respectful, and we never close our door on anyone. That's just our philosophy. So we gave the opportunity to entertain them. And rather than push them away, we said, okay, I tell you what, let's just do our homework on it. So my husband did his due diligence, and I, to research the company and the product. And, given the history of my husband, he's more like a regulator. He looks at everything. And he couldn't find anything negative about the product and also the company. So he gave me his blessings to go ahead and go for it. And before we did it, I went into prayer first, because I don't do anything without praying to the Father, because I give all glory and honor to him. And then I got the green light, and I just went full blast. Right. And I actually became diamond in a short period as well back then.
Right. And then, of course, your travel business took off.
Yes.
You're saying,
yes.
And life changed, and you had to focus on that, which was, I mean, a hugely successful. Perhaps you tell us a little bit about that, because I think you were in the top end of the travel industry, right?
Yes, I also was a very aggressive salesperson. I started in the industry in 1987, way before your time. And worked in a very established company. And then the company was sold to another company. And then I was bought to, I was actually headhunted to come to another company in 2002 and became the director overnight, basically. And decided to create exotic itineraries around the world, like places like Hong Kong and Vietnam, and China, and places like that. And it was very successful. And then I did cruises. And then, of course, my name got out there saying, this is the person to travel with and book, because my name's like a wholesale travel name. But of course, with COVID coming, with the COVID coming last year, obviously, you all know that travel is going to go slow. Very few people are traveling. And of course, I had opportunity to just sort of take a step back and, do more family-oriented things, taking care of my grandkids and, being a part of my family more in an intimate way, having more time with them. But then again, of course, I reached out to Mutitec to get back on board, and I was given John's name. John, he's wonderful. Hi, John. And
he's listening.
John has not left my side, I'm telling you. I don't know what I would have done without John. He is just awesome. And he's a great motivator and he continues to encourage me. And it's wonderful. It's just wonderful. And of course, from this point on, I decided to go ahead and move aggressively in the product. So I just promoted it in a way, just sharing the information to the clients or the customers, my family, and just basically giving them information about what is glutathione. That's my go-to, because most people don't know what glutathione is. And when I go into details about glutathione being a small molecule in the body, and it's everywhere, and predominantly in the liver, and your liver is your massive detoxifier, I think people get very impressed with that. Now, you don't have to have a lot of education and you can just be a normal person, but I kind of move into that direction and I give them the opportunity to learn and what it means in your cells.
Yeah, I mean, right now is an amazing time that you've come back to us, because obviously with COVID, people are really concerned and are willing to listen probably a lot more than they would have done, say, 18 months ago. So you've got a much more receptive crowd. Have you discovered that yourself?
Yes, actually today is so funny because I was at an appointment. I had to take my mom to the dentist. And what was so interesting, my car was kind of like double parked between somebody else's car. And I had to get out of the driveway. And the lady looked at me and I looked at her and her husband. I'm like, how you guys doing? And they said, fine. I said, how's your health? And they said, well, it's up and down. I said, I tell you what, I have a wonderful product to share with you. And I give them some information. And I said, listen, you read it. And you and I, we can get back together. And she said, sure, great. Don't forget to call me. And, just dialogue and I'm sort of rambunctious. I'm a type of person that loves people and I love to make people happy. And so this is a call that I just did today. But on a whole, what I do is I approach my family first. So, when I had my family in the program before, they were like, I cannot believe you are now back into Mutitec, selling Immunical. I can wait to get back on it. In fact, even becoming Diamond, the product is still not even here yet. But, thanks to God, I had a few items that came in today and people are so excited. In fact, there was a guy who actually is a friend of ours and he was just in New York at a hospital. And I just texted him to tell him, listen, I'm back online with Immunical. And he says, thank you. He says, I want the product, so he's on board and everybody else that follows,
Yeah.
So it's exciting.
It certainly is. I mean, you've done phenomenally well. I think, how many people have you brought into the business now in the first sort of 10 weeks since you started?
Oh, my dear. Actually, I'll tell you a real story. I actually became Diamond less than 2 months because I actually signed up February 12th. And of course, I was doing a course at Harvard University, cell biology, and that took a lot of my time. And I finished my cell biology course at Harvard on March 2nd. And then in April, I had some time to really figure out, okay, let me just go ahead and move into Mutitec. And it took me like basically 2 weeks, less than a month to get Diamond status.
Wow. So this is a course with a correspondence course, I guess, with Harvard,
Yes.
right?
Yes, at Harvard.
In biology, you say?
Yeah, it's cell biology. So basically what it is, it's how cells behave. We talked about the DNA, which is the deoxyribonucleic acid, and how it is sort of like the master cell that controls your body, that's responsible for who you are genetically from your parents. And then in addition to that, the cells, that particular DNA gets transcribed and makes mRNA, which is called messenger ribonucleic acid.
Right.
And that right there is transcribed in the nucleus, and then it moves out of the nucleus in the cytoplasm, and then makes ribosomes. And ribosomes are molecules that actually help to signal your body as to, if there's something that's going on within the system, like an example, if a virus hits you or a pathogen or anything, the body is able to communicate with your macrophage, which is a white blood cell. And they send out neutrophils, which are responsible for attacking the virus. And what's wonderful and lovely is that with Immunical, with the product platinum, they have, there's cell signaling, which is really nice, the redox modulating system, which is really good. So it all ties in together. So it was wonderful.
Well, I mean, this is coincidence, right? You were doing the course and then Mutitec came back into your life, right? That's kind of spooky.
Marriage.
That's spooky. So, apart from family and immediate friends, say on the island, you've obviously reached out to, because of what's happening with your business. Obviously, nothing to do with you and not your fault at all. But the travel industry has been massively hit, hasn't it? So, have you found that there's people in your industry that you've contacted, your colleagues in other companies or other independents that are listening to what you have to say about this as a sideline?
Yes, actually, I reached out. In fact, I reached out to a few people and even like some salespeople that actually not just locally, but some of our sales representatives from Miami, Florida. And it's exciting because we're all in the same boat and all like looking at what are ways to go ahead and sort of move in the direction of making income. Now, some people like myself, I'm pretty fortunate, I have to say. I have my husband and he's working and he's got a really good job, praise the Lord. But for me, this is like a hobby, but at the same time, I feel it's helping save people's lives. And I'm excited about it because, the income and the financial benefit is sort of like a side effect. But my main goal and focus, and I think the reason why I do really well is because I know that the product works, and I do know that it helps to build your glutathione levels to help to give you a better immune system. So back on your question, yes, people are excited in my industry. They're looking at what can I do right now. The travel cruise ships are, like it's 1 minute they're going, the next minute they're canceled. So yeah, this is a great opportunity.
Well, I appreciate that. My daughter works for Royal Caribbean, and she's been laid off for over a year now. They're just beginning to start to think about going back again, and she's had to have the vaccination, and I think they're pretty much saying that all of the guests that are coming on board have to prove they've had it as well, right? I mean, the cruise industry is very strict because they're obviously in confined areas, aren't they?
Yes, they are, correct.
That's the challenge there. So on an international level, I mean, I really understand. I'm an island boy too. I come from the Isle of Wight, which is not quite so glamorous, but it's right down the bottom of England near Portsmouth and Southampton. So I understand, living on an island, you have to reach out to the bigger part of the world. Have you found that, using the tools we've got nowadays, of course, with Zoom and internet and Facebook and connections, have you found that's been helpful to reach out to people off the island?
Well, because I've traveled around the world to every continent practically. I didn't really have much of a challenge because I already had a nucleus of people that I do know. I mean, my database is quite big. It's just I haven't had a chance to just reach out to everybody. However, but what I do is I just create an email based on the history of Mutitec, what it is, and what Immunical can do to the body. And I drove in some attachments and some videos, some downloads, and I just do an email burst to some of the people, and they come back and very excited. It's very informative, and it's sort of giving people education as to what the product is, rather than try to call and explain everything. I just put in an email, and helps a lot.
And how far afield have you been able to reach out so far away from the island? What's your farthest contact?
India.
India. All right, we're not quite there yet.
No, but it's a seed planted. Believe you me, it's a seed planted.
Yeah, I think that's great. I mean, and in terms of the States and Canada and the UK, anything in those areas?
Oh yes, actually, I've made some good contacts just recently. I was telling John, and he was gracious enough to send some products over to two of my. One's an entertainer who has a very entertaining, like a really large database. And then another person who runs computer systems and deals with sports. So those two, and I have someone in Greece, but that's not on the network yet. And that's sort of like, I'm going further afield, perhaps.
Yeah.
So when we do get into those markets, I'm already tapped in a little bit to giving people the opportunity to just use it, take it, and see how that will go.
So, so if you're approaching people outside, do you tend to try and focus on people that have some business skills, or some, like you mentioned, they've got a good database or network? Is that your focus mainly? Or are you kind of just really everywhere?
Well, to be quite honest, I kind of use a particular marketing strategy where it's not so much that I will not use any other general sales pitch, but I use a nucleus and affluent people at the time that I believe that they have the income and also they have the opportunity to make more. In addition to that, that's just one side of it. Then I have just the lay person, because everybody is important. And to me, I believe that even someone that's never worked before or feel like they don't even know how to sell, I approach them as well, because that's an opportunity you can change somebody's life. So I kind of like, I do have a program where I zoom into the database, and then of course I do see other people who are hurting financially, and then I approach it from that side as well. So I give everybody the opportunity.
That's great. And how do you support them? Because obviously, if somebody's coming into the business, you're sending them a lot of package of information to research, and then you follow up with that, do you? And how do you kind of help people to come on board to duplicate what you're doing?
Well, I use my WhatsApp and I make videos.
Okay. Right.
And I drink it in my kitchen and I say, this is what happens and this is what happens to your body. You feel great. And, I use different marketing tools. So I use WhatsApp a lot, because once I get people's cell phone, I can just shoot off my videos to them. And
see, you're making little videos on your phone.
Correct.
Posting them. I think that's brilliant. I did one with my daughter a little while back, and we did one in the kitchen. I rigged up my telephone on a clothes horse that we dry clothes when it's wet outside, which is quite regular here. And we just talked to the camera, and we did it in one take. And I posted that out, and we got a lot of traction on that. So I think you're absolutely right. The little videos you can do, just consistent small things, and send them out to keep that connection. Are you finding that's working for you in terms of other people copying it, or are you finding that's taking a bit more time to get going?
Not really. It's such an easy thing to do. I mean, as long as you don't keep it too long, like,
Right.
a minute or two, just to grab the attention. And then, of course, I change the scenery. I will be going to my kitchen or I'll go outside. And people love Bermuda, like the sunshine,
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm more interested in sometimes the backdrop versus what I'm saying at times. But then they come back to me and say, I think I really want to be on this program. And I get it from there. Yeah.
Cool.
So, I mean, little things like WhatsApp and, I'm using LinkedIn as well. Is trying to link in, connections as well in that regard.
Yeah. So, I mean, if this is interesting, because I mean, it's certainly what I found that if I was prospecting, I'm similar to you, and not that I'm prospecting these days, but the technique is always to do the research on individuals. And I think what's fascinating is that probably, I don't know, 25, 30 years ago, you used to be able to go into a public telephone booth and there'd be phone directories with people's names, addresses, and telephone numbers. And that's now gone, right? You were not allowed to see that information anymore. But the crazy thing is, with Facebook and LinkedIn, you've actually got a lot more information, right? You know their job, you know what their likes and dislikes are. And so when you do connect with people, you can have a conversation where you have an understanding of that individual before you start. Have you found that kind of thing is helpful to you in terms of researching people's background to support them?
Oh, by all means. I think it's very important that one has to know, the prospect, because not every person is alike. And I sort of do my due diligence in learning about the history of the person, what they like, and I try to start off with a conversation on something that their hobby or something, than to go right into sale pitch, because I think not everybody will be receptive to just becoming just an aggressive salesperson. So I kind of like start out in conversations like, oh, I see you play this sport. Oh, it's exciting. My son does that. Or I'll go into something like, oh, I see that you like to do this. So because people, no matter what they are, like what they do, the profession, they always have something like an extra curriculum that they kind of love to do. And I think that's really a nice attitude to go ahead and zoom into that. I don't like to be intrusive. I believe that you should know your subject. You should know, people, and understand that not everybody is alike. Some people get excited. Other people tend to kind of are more subdued. So you have to really I literally analyze people in a different way. And I'll tell you the truth, my background, I have a double degree in psychology and sociology. So I understand people in a different way, and sort of, socially and also individually. So I kind of look at their patterns of personalities to see how to approach them. It's important to know that.
Yeah, well, we've been talking about this recently because I brought out a little guidebook about how to recruit online and Facebook. Mm-hmm. And this was all about approaching groups, and it was based on your personal interests, what you're saying, whether it's a football or it's cricket, great thing obviously out there in the Caribbean, or, any subject, cooking, it doesn't really matter what it is, to join those groups where there's hundreds or thousands of members and start to participate, start to connect with people, get involved in their conversations, give ideas about the subject you're in, and build into those conversations slowly, as you've correctly said. The business side of things comes a little later once you've established the rapport. And I think that's now starting to percolate through. People are really getting it. Because I think a lot of people just initially used Facebook for posting pictures of their cat and dog and what they had for lunch, They're now starting to use it more as a tool. So, if you were trying to help somebody to get established with their own group, what advice would you give them in terms of how to use social media?
Well, I think the most important thing is to know the subjects and to find out how you would be able to network, because what will be most positive and important is to create something in your mind that, like an example, like, hi, how are you doing? I hope everything is well. COVID has taken over, and we just want you to know that, we like to show you an opportunity to boost your immune system. And I have a fantastic product. It's called Mutitec. It's backed up by scientific reviews. And if you're interested in knowing about it, please send me back a response, and we go from there. And that's how I've been approaching it, and I've been getting success. Now, other people may feel that a little bit intrusive, but people say, thank you very much, or no, thank you. So I don't look at people who are negative or people that reject or say no, because every no that I get, I'm getting closer to a yes. So I get even more motivated. Right. I'm like, and then here's the thing, which is very interesting. I approached a friend of mine who was not interested at all. And the space that she was in at the time was obviously a vulnerable situation. So I'm like, okay, I'll let her be. And of course, fast forward, I approach her again in a different way, because now her environment has changed, her space has changed. And then what does she say? Oh, sign me up. So never give up, and never write anybody off. It's just where they're at the time. And you have to kind of police that and understand that as well in terms of where people are.
Oh, I mean, Italian, we've heard that story so many times, over the years, where people initially have said no, but as you say, the circumstances change every 3 to 6 months to connect with them again, and you never know. And particularly what's happened during this COVID crisis, we've seen that happen more and more and more. People coming back into the business, like yourself, that have been away on a long vacation or something, but or having a family, or different challenges, but have come back again, and with renewed gusto as well. I would say, it's once you've been there and you know how powerful the product is and how much it can affect people's lives, I think it's even easier in some respects. Would you agree with that?
Oh, definitely. And also, just to add to anything with people with pricing, I know some people have a habit of saying it's quite expensive, the product, and I kind of break it down to tell them that if you really look at 30 packages and you buy it's like $5 a day for a drink. And I said something that your cells need your eyes need, your legs need. I mean, for $5, they can get soda or any other thing. So some people kind of approach it from an expensive perspective, you know, the product, and I kind of like break it down, you know, into lay terms. That's about $5.
Well, we have Dr. Nancy Cellini was on a call with us recently in New York, and she talks about your health bank. She said, you have a bank account, you have a money bank account, do you have a health bank account? And they said, well, what do you mean by that? You know, well, what are you putting into your health bank account for a rainy day? And that's kind of thing you're talking about. So breaking it down to a per portion basis and saying that you're just investing in yourself. It's not an expense as such, it's an investment. And I think that's very, very good to hear you say that too, because it's how you package it really, isn't it, for people to understand. I mean, it's the first thing I do in the morning, right? I mean, every day without fail. And, you know, from my perspective, I can tell you, you know, I just hit 63 years old in January. I'm probably more muscle tone than I've had in my life. And I used to work out in the gym, but I'm actually stronger now than I was then. And it's a very, very strange experience.
You know what, I can actually piggyback on that comment because I'm a fitness person, but I must say that I actually run about 5 to 6 miles from where I live to the golf course. And my endurance is amazing. And also my strength. And also I've seen a change within my body since, you know, is it like 9 grams of protein, you know, that's amazing. And it really tightens and strengthens your muscles. And what I do that I really like, I found an article that my husband, we found way back about the sports, giving sports people in the gym and different places just to drink. And it's a really good place to go into gyms because guys are buying this whey protein and a lot of them have fillers that's really not doing good with your liver. So when you tell this is a clean whey, which is isolate and will give you a good result, that's a nice approach as well, is targeting these particular facilities. You know.
Absolutely. We've just, our Vice President of Europe, Aurelio Fernandez, has just gone on a marathon cycle ride across Spain. And I mean, he was saying to me yesterday on the call we had that how fast he recovered. By Tuesday afternoon, he said it was like I just walked around the block, you know, but it was very, very demanding. It wasn't actually on the road, it was through sort of country lanes and off the beaten track, as we say. So he's, you know, he's very impressed by it. And I think it's when you start to do those things, as you're older, you notice your endurance is so much the pickup, you know, the recovery rate is what we're talking about, I think. So going forward, as we, you know, my kind of twist on this, Talion, is obviously about Europe and what's happening. We're on the cusp of opening into Portugal, which would be nice. Do you still have relatives out that part of the world?
Yeah, we may have a few. Yeah. But I can. What I can do, I can still look at the database. I look at people who are excited with their health. So the best place to move is people that are really health oriented. And then you can approach this product because this will be an adjunct to it. So that anyone that's like in the spas or in any health regime, you want to go ahead and, because this is really a good addition to whatever they're doing. Now, I just bumped into a lady, actually it was yesterday, and I told her about Mutitec. She's like, oh, I have too many stuff. I'm taking vitamin C, I'm taking vitamin D, I'm doing all of this. I don't need another product. I'm like, okay, I understand. I take a step back. I said, but do you know, right, that if you don't have enough glutathione in your body, your vitamin D, your vitamin C has no effect? I said, you have to have enough glutathione so your vitamin C can actually allow the nutrient to go into your cells. And she's like, what do you mean by that? And then we generate a conversation. So you have to really know how to respond to people when you have some sort of adversity and resistance, and just come back with the education.
Absolutely, yeah. And I mean, you from the Portuguese version of Bermuda, I suppose, is Madeira, right? The island of Madeira. That's where we're going to have some good contacts, I feel.
Yeah, well, not so much Madeira. It's Ponte de Gauda. That's where most of them are. Ponte de Gauda.
Okay.
And Madeira is right next door. Yes.
Right. Yes. Yes. Exactly. So, health professionals, personal trainers. Have you ever had experience with personal trainers? Because they tend to have a lot of private clients that they exercise with, right? So
correct.
They're in a good position, I guess, to give some dietary advice too, would you say?
Oh, definitely. Well, it's interesting because I have two sons that both work out and very much into fitness and health and everything. They drink it, religiously. And they have friends and people that are very much probably will be on board as well. Because what I do is, I have my sons in the program as well, and they just have people as well that's really their age and they're in the gym and working out. So, it's just a matter of getting, contacts that way as well. But what my approach is now is that I will be going around personally then versus just sending out emails. I send out emails to certain people, but I will be going to certain gyms and just find out who's the head guy and then take it from there. Right. Now that Bermuda is open, we were basically shut down. We just opened just a day or two. So I will go to the gyms and meet the bigger, the person who's mostly in charge, because, he will be the front door for me.
I think it's exciting because, I mean, we've just coming out of lockdown here too, and people are so excited to talk and meet with each other right now. It's like a whole new experience again, isn't it? People are really welcoming when you go and see them. Nice to connect with people again in real time. But what we have learned, I think, during all this time is really how to use this particular technology we're on now. I mean, Zoom has been a lifesaver to the industry, and it really has enabled everyone to connect literally, all over the world. We were talking about Anthony Robbins the other day, Tony Robbins, the guy that's written all the sort of self-help books and things.
Yes.
And I mean, he is linked up with a guy called, I can't think of his first name, Graziozzi, his surname is unusual. He's a property guy. But they had over 800,000 people on a Zoom call recently. And their goal now is to do 1 million. And they're doing 3-day training courses for all over the world. Now, the reason I mention that is because, often we would have had to spend money on gasoline, on hiring a meeting room, on bringing folks together. That part of the business has now been relaxed over the last year or so. And this technology has enabled everybody to connect pretty much for free, right? You don't need to spend a lot of money on this anymore or traveling. But we are going to break out and have our first meeting in London on the 12th of June. And so, you guys all listening this evening to Italian Story, be mindful of that. If you've got contacts in the UK, we can send you out the details. It's going to be at Heathrow Airport, the main city airport in London, on Saturday, the 12th of June. So in terms of your UK contacts, is that something you'll be able to dig into, do you think, Italian? Will you have people over here?
Well, actually, since you mentioned this conference in June, and it's a live conference, right?
Yes.
I think it would be a great opportunity for me to now, sort of approach my UK base, because it's wonderful to know that you have something, a market that's going to be, they can actually go to and hear about the product. So is that a 2-day seminar or is it a 1 day?
No, it's only a Saturday. There's a link I can send you out, which they can book their ticket. It's free to attend, but it's limited to 30 guests because of the COVID restrictions. So yeah, but that's okay. If you have 29 of your people there, that'll be good. But yeah, we have a thing called Eventbrite, which is a system where you can actually just reserve your tickets. So if we get to a point where we're exceeding 30, don't worry, we'll get a bigger room. Not a problem.
Okay, well, that's good to know. That's good to know.
Yeah, so it'll start in the morning, 10 o'clock on that Saturday, and we'll probably get through to after lunch with some training. Lots of good stuff to share. We're soon to be releasing the new website we're all very excited about. That's due to come out the end of this month. That's the latest news. I think it's the 20th of May, as far as I remember. And shortly after that, in the early part of June, we will start to pre-launch into Portugal. So this is the time, it's really great that you're on the call tonight, Italian, because it gives us that international feel that as you're talking about all this traveling, etc., to get people to really start to think about who they know, you can springboard out of the UK into Europe. So basically going forward, you've now got yourself to diamond level. What's your next goal, can we ask you?
Well, I guess you can ask John. No, I'm not going to John on the spot. John and I are just amazing. Well, my next goal is hopefully, God willing, to make the next step, which is to go diamond again, to get it, 2 times around. And that's what I'm hoping to do, in the month of May. So I only have a few weeks left, isn't it?
John, you're listening in on this. How are you going to help Italian to achieve her goal?
I am at her beck and call. He called me at 8:30 last night in church, and I left church, and we were on the phone till, I don't know, about 12 o'clock Italian's time. So whatever she needs, it's getting done. So. Yeah. When and listen, everybody, when you have somebody that really wants to build, support them, and Italian, just to clear one thing up, Mutitec didn't give me Italian. Italian was in my downline previously, and she's underneath the same guy she was under previously, but I'm working with her because that guy's kind of passive in the business. So let's just clear that up. Anyway, having said that, Italian and Peter, her husband, who super guy, just super couple. You can tell that listening to what she shared this afternoon. But when you get somebody, support them. Don't be cheap. If they ask you to send product to somebody, get your credit card out and do it. You support the people who support you in a business like this, and support them. And Italian knows anything she needs, from conference calls, 3-way calls, product, whatever. If she needs to talk to you, Scott, she needs to talk to John Molson. We're getting that set up, et cetera, to just support, because it's number one, it's in your best interest financially, but number two, we want to build this team all over the world, and Italian and Peter have contacts. I don't know where it's a shorter list of countries that she doesn't know people. And you name countries, probably. Well,
I haven't been to Iran and Iraq, I would say, but I've been to Australia, New Zealand, Fiji, and Tahiti. I've been to all through South America, Brazil, Argentina, Ushuaia. I've been all through the Caribbean. I've been to the United Kingdom. I've been to Denmark, Ireland, Sweden. I mean, the list just goes on. I mean, like you said, the best question is where I haven't been. And I would say Iraq and Iran, and Antarctica and Greenland is on my bucket list. But yeah.
Well, we were talking about Latvia yesterday, right? We're talking about
Latvia.
Latvia, but once again, Italian has done this, 99.99% on her own. Okay. I've just been there to assist her and, clear hurdles here and there. Okay. Especially being in a country where we're not, technically in business. So just to assist, and that's all you can do as an upline. It's kind of like being in sports, you know what I mean? It's kind of like you get an assist in the scoring column for helping superstars to achieve, and she's a superstar. And you haven't heard the end of her. She asked me last night, I'll close with this, Scott. She asked me last night, she goes, "Now what do I have to do to executive diamond? I need 4 diamonds, right?" And I'm like, well, let's finish your second month as diamond first. And I'm like, and I got off the phone, and I almost called you back, but I knew it was past midnight your time. I was almost like, what am I slowing her down for? Yeah, sure, go executive diamond this month if you want. I mean, she can do it. So anyway, and by the way, most importantly, you all can do it. Here's what Italian's doing that you may not be doing. Italian sponsored 41 human beings last month. Okay.
That's a fantastic result, isn't it?
41. Take a look at the charts, okay? Every country we post the charts of production of sponsoring. 41 last month. She'll probably do something similar this month with the track that she's on. They're all over the world. you know, that's, you know, what's the key to our business? You know, you can listen to a million training calls. Bottom line is, are you talking to people? Aren't you talking to people? When you get to the end of the day, if you've got nobody that you talk to about a Mutitec, and the same tomorrow and the same next day, do you deserve to grow your business? No, you don't. That's just reality. You're self-employed. If you do have numbers, which she has every day, okay, her business grows every day. So, you know, there's no secret to multi-level outside of talking to people, honestly. You can don't throw out all the books, because I've written some of them and I'm in some of them. But having said that, if you just forget everything else and you just did exactly what she's doing. I mean, Italia tells me last night, I'm going to give you a hard time. She's like, I'm not even on Facebook. I'm trying to send her something by Facebook. I'm like, where is she? I got 4,000 people in here. Where's Italia? I'm like, where are you? I can't find you. She's like, oh, I'm not on Facebook. So,
I'm old school.
Yeah, old school. Yeah. Talking to people, you know. So she does use social media, obviously, with her business, but more LinkedIn and things like that. But it's just amazing what she's done. And I have to tell you, this is a woman who puts God first in her life. I don't mind saying that. Okay. She's very, very clear about that. Number one. And number two, she studies health nonstop. She's committed to her health. Her husband's committed to his health, their children's health, their grandchildren's health. So when we started talking again, right after Christmas, we started to talk, and she shared what she was doing with Harvard and the degree that she was getting, on top of being a regular member of the Hippocrates Club down in Florida, which is very, very advanced place that you go for the right kind of eating and such. I mean, this woman is making her health a priority. So when she talks, she comes from a position of strength with people because they know she's serious about her health. Therefore, they should be serious about theirs, or if they want to increase theirs because they're not in good health, obviously, she's a person who understands how to get them there. So you're going to hear a lot about Italian, no question about it. I know Mauricio's excited about Italian. I know a few other people are, as well as Scott. But anyway, Scott, back to you. You guys talk. I mean, Italian teach these guys a lot more than I can right now.
Okay. Well, I would like to ask if there's anybody who would like to pop the question over to, as we've got John as well, we've got Italian and myself. Any questions you have regarding what you've heard this evening, whether it be, you know, in terms of sponsoring locally, nationally, or internationally, this is a good time in terms of how you support your group. So, you know, please feel free. If you want to either just put it in the chat or ask directly, then go for it, you know.
Come on, guys. I'm sure you have something to say.
Yeah, they're just warming up. We have to get them to warm up a bit.
Hey, Scott is Foster here.
Hi, Foster.
No question, but wanted to congratulate Italian. Great information. I've been taking notes nonstop, and this is just re-energizing the base. It's always for me, anyways, 22 years later, it's always fun when I get to hear somebody coming in with such energy. But you definitely have a system that is working, and I've taken notes where the professional approach to what you do is commendable. The fact that you know when to take steps back, even when, you know, people feel that, okay, hold on for a second. I've taken notes of that. I'm going to use it and teach. This is just common sense, but more often than not, we don't apply them. So, and I'm glad that a lot of people are on this call. Hopefully they are taking note the way I have. There's definitely no question. Scott has done a fabulous job pretty much digging into, you know, your world, and just the very first few minutes, though, I may have missed, but based on the description being given, are you in Bermuda by any chance?
Yes, I'm in the island of Bermuda, small Bermuda, yes.
Okay, I'm getting the accent and all that. Well, maybe in the near future, which will be very soon in days, John and I will be talking, because you and I have the same upline good friend. Because many years ago, I had somebody very special. Once I mentioned the name, you know them. I took them to Montreal in the home office, and it was a winter month. And boy, the ice on the highway here in Toronto going to Montreal, we almost didn't make it, but they survived. Wonderful family. We couldn't do business because of the fact that we couldn't ship product to Bermuda at the time. But good to hear. I'm hearing the accent. I wasn't too sure, but that's what came to mind. So nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you too, Foster, and thanks so much for taking the reinforcement, because sometimes we need to sort of come together and sort of like doing this together. We're all together. We're one big family, and we strengthen each other together. So I'm just so thankful that you can take the advice, and I can take anyone's advice, and you can tell me what you're doing as well.
Okay, I'm going to give you some advice this evening, Italian, because you give.
And I want to thank Scott too. First of all, I want to thank Scott. Scott is an amazing, amazing person, and I was so thankful to John for the introduction, because he is a very interesting man, and he's got the energy and the excitement as well, and moving the Mutitec to the next level. So, Scott, I really appreciate your support as well.
Well, you're very welcome. I wanted to say that one of the things we'd like to do in the future, I think, is to come and have a leadership seminar on the island of Bermuda. So you need to kind of work out how to package that for us sometime, so we can all come out there.
Oh yes, let's just wait till COVID dies down.
Absolutely, absolutely. Pauline, you had a question?
I have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, I came on late because of work, so I just want to find out from Italian, are you doing this full time or is it part time?
This is
for you?
very, very part time. This is extremely part time. I will tell you, I take care of my moms. I also take care of my grandkids, and so in between that. So what I do is I allot certain days. It's like I will get up and say, okay, Monday is a Mutitec, Friday's a Mutitec, or relative. So I have to sort of put things in perspective. So it's not something that I want to do like 24/7, because I have a life as well. But I have to designate a specific day to what I'm going to do to promote the business. And when you do that, you kind of have a goal set that hopefully nothing will be interrupted. So like today was Zoom meeting, so that's cut my time. But I do it like that, and it makes me feel great, because it doesn't interfere with me feeling like, oh, I didn't call somebody today. It's Friday already. So I know that I have to do most of my work on the days that I set. And that way I have a system. I think once you have a system and a structure in place, you can kind of move ahead where it's not impeding on your personal life as well. So I think, yeah, thanks.
Okay, thank you.
Is that okay for Pauline? You okay with that?
Well, it's just that well, as Foster know, like I've been doing this part time, and what I really.
Oh, we've lost your voice there. You've switched off your mic.
Well, I'm saying for the past 2 months, I realized as we were talking with Foster, like I'm getting ahead even for myself. It would mean that I would have to do more time in terms of switching.
And well,
as an outline, let me quickly respond. My response to you, Pauline, was always, it's not a quantity of time, but a quality of time. You'd be amazed to see what you can do based on some of the tips that she's given us, especially using, a tool like WhatsApp, which is one of my favorites.
Yeah.
You can reach more than 50 people within an hour. And that is not something you could do trying to get 50 people to a hotel seminar.
Exactly.
So again, it's the quality of time, not quantity.
I think Pauline's on the right track. She's got the same map as Italian, I noticed behind her. Look at that. Right? She's going international.
Well, can I interject for a sec? Okay, so I have Dean, Isaac, Michael, Karina. If you can just tell me where you're from, that would be wonderful. I see your faces. I see names that I'm not sure where you're from. If you wouldn't mind telling me where you're from.
So hi, Italian. I'm Karina. Nice to meet you and congratulations. You are doing great. I'm from Mexico, but I'm living in UK. So yes, it's really, really helpful, everything that you say to us. And it's possible, for example, if I can send you my email, it's possible that you reply an email to me. I will love to have, like, for example, the idea, how can I write to my people, because I don't want to look like I want to sell immediately, but I will love how to know how you send the emails to be attractive to your customers, if it's possible.
Of course, why not? Oh, it's just basically introducing myself to them and just giving them the history of glutathione and, you know, basically copy and pasting about the history of glutathione and the products, and then go from there. And then I will use specific links, like if somebody I know who has cancer, I'll do a cancer link. So every email is basically different depending on the needs of whoever I'm targeting. But you know, it's general, but no problem. Yeah.
Okay. So
Right.
basically, it's just like to introduce yourself about glutathione and to talk about glutathione.
Yeah, I think that if you really look at the product, it has 3 amino acids: glycine, glutamine, and cysteine. And these are the amino acids which are the building blocks of the body that when you ingest it, it acts as a precursor to go into your cells and increase your glutathione level. And the glutathione is the most important. It's a phenomenon which is inside, intracellular. It's not something made outside the cell. So in order for you to basically, I think she went off. I'm not sure if she went off. Can't see her face.
No, she's there. She's there.
Yeah. So when you market it from there, so once you have that base to say that this will help your immune system, because people will look at you. There's another health product, and there's another this and another that. But when you tell them this product is a precursor to increase your level, to make your immune system work efficiently, you get the attention. Because that's what I think a lot of people don't move. They just look at Immunical and it does this, but the glutathione is powerful, very powerful.
We have a lady on the call tonight, Italian, Patricia Thompson. I know she's listening. She's in London.
Hi, Patricia.
She has a little bit of background in terms of helping people with their health. Do you have any questions, Patricia, for Italian this evening from London?
Well, I think it's mainly covered, but congratulations, Italian. And I really love your energy. You're so enthusiastic about it. And you've inspired me to, progress more in the business. And I'm going to take up a bit of your tip from the email, because I've sent some emails, but what I'm going to do is follow you and send some link to, maybe show something more about glutathione.
Yeah, you're most welcome, Patricia. I'm very happy that I can be of assistance to you all. Yes.
Well, Patricia's halfway to our Vida trip in Miami. So she's been working really hard this spring as well. You know, it's been really exciting for us to see what she's doing there too. So,
I think the most important thing to take away is to create product knowledge, enthusiasm, passion, and a desire to help people. I mean, you will never lose. Like I said, the financial benefits will follow, but the passion and saving lives for people, to me, is the ingredients that set everything apart. And if you move forward in that direction, everything will, and everybody you touch, every life you touch, whether they buy, whether they come on board, you're making a difference in the world. And I think that's most important. And, because there's a lot of people that are hurting, a lot of people that are in pain, and a lot of sickness right now. And I think, if you could just even put the time with them, even if it's 5 minutes, that you care and you have that love and that passion, you go far, you go very far.
That is.
Yes, I was inspired by your enthusiasm, because I was walking along and listening to you, and I saw my local curry takeaway shop, and I said, hey, I've got a new product, how about it? Do you want to know about it? And I said, can I have your number? And he said, yeah, let me know. So I think, yes, anyone we meet, we just have to take the opportunity and pass the message.
Well, you've been helping some people that have been pretty sick in London, haven't you, Patricia?
Yes, I have, yes. So
I mean, that same attitude that we're talking about, it's about the caring, the consideration, putting your focus in there, and as Italian says, the money will follow. You don't focus on that at all. You focus on on helping people with their conditions and being really sincere and supportive. And I think both of you ladies have got that absolutely clear. And I think if everybody takes that away from this call tonight, if nothing else, it's that power of building relationships and being very sincere with people in their lives. That's the key to it. So we've got just a few more minutes before we close, and I really want to give everyone the opportunity to speak if they want to ask any questions of Italian or John or myself or Foster. Please.
Scott, I want to say hi to Italia. Congratulations. I'm Hyacinth, and I'm from Jamaica.
Amen.
I'm here in Canada for a long time, yes. And I'm very happy to meet up with you today. There's a lot of nuggets that I'm getting from you, and most of it is not new. It's what my leader and mentor, Foster, and other leader has been saying over and over. But you really inspire me today, and I'm very excited to be on this call today. And I love your enthusiasm and your passion, and I really have to take it in consideration where we need to have the product knowledge to know what we're saying when we meet people, and get to know who you're dealing with. And no doesn't mean it's no. No is drawing me closer to a yes. I love that.
Oh, yes. And another takeaway too before closing, I know we have a few minutes. In life, nothing good is cheap and nothing cheap is good. So when people look at the product and they think it's expensive or whatever, you have to approach it. And even in my industry and travel, you get what you pay for. So, this product here is priceless. And I'm just so thankful for Mutitec and being a part of this family. It's just awesome and wonderful. And, I want to thank John again for everything, his support, as well as Scott. Just to have both of you two together, it's just amazing, just phenomenal. I really appreciate all of you. And I just hope that you can all move forward with the excitement, the energy, and the motivation that never give up. Never give up.
Never give up. Thank you.
Never give up.
Thank you, Scott. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Italian, it's been super. Thank you so much. I think we've exhausted you tonight from that hour, but it's been really, really, really inspiring for us all. Thank you so much. And for all of you that have participated in the call, I have recorded it, as I said at the beginning. So if anybody would like to have a copy, you could just ask me at slucy@immunitec.com on my email. And I'm going to package this up and post it off to you by WeTransfer. So it'll get to you really, really quick. I really encourage you to share it with your group, because we've got some fantastic information there this evening. Italian is a superstar right now and is really showing how to build a business part-time around family commitments by using your focus, by understanding the product really well, by doing your research, and by reaching out and sharing, and working as a team. That's the key to this. We are a network, we're a family, and we are here to support each other. So once again, bless you, Italian. Thank you so much. Really, really.
Yes. And most important, but certainly not least, I've given the spiel on everything, but I have to say, and I have to close with this: if it had not been for the Father who art in heaven, that's on my side, I will not be where I am. And I thank him for his son, Yeshua, Jesus. And I want to give all honor and praise, because it's him who allows me to get where I am in this station in my life.
God bless you.
Thank you. Be encouraged.
Okay, folks, take care once again. See you soon. All the best.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye all. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.